The Heat and the Hawks. I picked the Heat to beat out the Hawks, and boy, was I wrong. Now, the score is by 11, but it felt so much worse than that. Like, a lot worse than that. In the first half, the Heat looked absolutely horrible. They looked terrible. In the first half, they shot 25% from three. Now, this team is not a great three-point team, hence they're 27th in three-point percentage. Compared to the Hawks, who actually shot the ball pretty well. Kind of. If you're comparing them to the Heat, yeah, they shot better. 32% from three, but 46% from the floor compared to 37.8% from the Heat. The second quarter may have been the worst second quarter I've ever seen in my life. There was no communication on the Heat side, especially on defense. They got easily beaten by a simple screen that led to a few threes for the Hawks. Trae Young. Now, there was a report that came out, I think the day before, or the day of this play-in game, so yesterday, that the Hawks were granted the green light to try to trade Trae Young next season. And look what Trae Young did. He dropped 25 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists in a great game. Now, he didn't shoot the three ball very well because he doesn't shoot threes very well. I think he is a career 33% three-point shooter. Last night, he shot 1 of 8. Still led the team in points. But honestly, the big W for the Hawks is their bench. Every single one of their bench players had 10 or more points. The entire team was a plus in the plus-minus. Not a single one of their players was 0 or a negative. You had some huge shots by Sadiq Bey, I believe. You also had this guy named I can't pronounce his first name, Okongwu, that's his last name. On the defensive side, he had 4 blocks. Huge defensive performance for him. This was just an ugly game. I've never seen a team that are so well coached, like the Miami Heat are with Eric Spoelstra, who I think has like a top 7 win percentage, especially in the playoffs. I've never seen a great coach team play this poorly in not even the first round of the playoffs. They got out-rebounded. I have the number here. They got out-rebounded 63 to 39. Trae Young had more rebounds than some of the centers and power forwards on the Heat. The only guy he got out-rebounded by was Bam Adebayo, who he didn't even play great on offense. 12 points, 5 of 12 shooting. Like, I picked the Heat here. I thought that they were going to come in and just destroy the Hawks based on their defense because they are second in defense. Second in points allowed, I should say. 9th in defensive rating. But then I forgot to look at the obvious number. They can't score. They can't score any points. They're dead last. 109.5 points per game. That's what they average on the season. And they scored 105. Shocking. And there was a report out that came like a couple weeks ago saying that the Heat were severely disappointed because they thought they were getting an all-star version of Kyle Lowry. Well, Kyle Lowry showed up. He dropped 33 points, 5 assists, and 4 rebounds. He shot 11 of 16 and 6 of 9 from 3. That's the only reason why, and most of those points actually came in the second quarter. That's why they didn't get absolutely blown out in the first half. Now, it wasn't pretty. I think they were down by 15. But we're talking not like a 25-point down at the half. That's because Kyle Lowry showed up in the second quarter. It was everyone else. Gabe Vincent, 24 minutes, 2 of 6. His only points were 3-pointers. Max Strus didn't do anything. Tyler Hero did not have a great job shooting the 3-ball. In fact, the entire Heat team did not have a great job at shooting the 3-ball. They ended at 32.4%. But the Hawks in the second half, the Heat had a lot of chances to come back in this game. The Hawks in the second half couldn't shoot the 3-ball whatsoever. I have the number here. The Hawks in the second half shot 12.5% from 3. 2 of 16, and they couldn't shoot free throws. They're called free throws. Probably the easiest points to get in the game because you're not being defended. No one's around you. Hell, people don't even jump for this shot. It's a free throw. You shot 5 of 11. The only guy that actually made his free throws are Trae Young. He went 5 of 6. This Heat team is bad. Now, the Hawks are going to go on to the Celtics. The Hawks have lost on an average margin of 13.3 points per game against the Celtics this year. They're 0-3 against them. Would I be surprised if the Celtics show up and destroy, meaning sweep, the Atlanta Hawks? I wouldn't be surprised. Hell, I may even pick that. I may give them one game. Maybe I'll say they lose in 5. This Heat team, now we'll have to go up against either the Bulls or the Raptors. I'd be nervous if I were the Heat. This Heat team is not the Heat team of last year. They look bad. They're slow. I believe they're the oldest team in the NBA or very close to it. They played like they were the oldest team. Extremely slow. They were not agile. They're not jumping for rebounds. Hell, that's why they got out-rebounded by, 24 rebounds? There was no communication on defense. Like I said, they got beat by simple screens. There was no communication saying, screen right, I'm going to go pick that guy up. No. You both got held up by that screen. One of the Hawks players was wide open. He shoots a 3 and makes it. They couldn't make wide open shots either. They've had a lot of opportunities where they had wide open 3-pointers or even just wide open jump shots and couldn't make it. Hell, hit front rim, hit back rim, hit side rim, hit backboard. They played terribly. And this is an Eric Spoelstra-led team. And Udonis Haslem, who in his last regular season game actually played very well for the guy who I believe was 42 years old. I'm not going to say I was impressed with the Hawks because I was so disappointed in the Heat. I thought the Heat may play a little bit better. The Hawks showed up, though. I will give them that. I'm not going to say the Hawks are going to go far. No, they played against the worst offense in the league. They sort of did their job. I mean, I did pick the Heat, to be fair, because I thought that they would at least play good enough defense that if they averaged, the 30th, they're ranked 30 in points per game, that, you know what, if they hold them to 108, because their average is 109.5, that they'd be able to come out with the win. But they didn't really play much defense. The second chance points the Hawks had, I think they were 3 times what the Heat had, maybe even more. They couldn't get a rebound. They couldn't play much defense. Kyle Lowry did his job. The 36 or 37-year-old Kyle Lowry, who the Heat were disappointed in, because they weren't getting All-Star All-Star Kyle. He showed up. 33 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. No one else did. Bam Adebayo can't play all. He's a bad guy on offense. His defense is pretty good, actually. 2 blocks, 3 steals. Also got 9 boards. He'd be a 3. He's a 3 at the very best. Maybe a very bad 2 on a decent to good team. He played 41 minutes. For some reason, they have guys here that didn't make a single point. Was it Caleb Martin? 0 for 3. 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Didn't do anything in the game. He was a -4. Played 29 minutes. You shoot 3 shots. Don't make a single one of them. Kyle Lowry also came off the bench. He they showed a stat, I think, very early in the game. He plays much better off the bench. Victor Oladipo played 9 minutes. Took 1 shot. Where was he? Kevin Love, who I thought was a really good pickup for the Heat, he barely played. 3 minutes. Made 1 shot. That's it. This was just a dumb basketball team. They just played so poor. It was unbelievable just how bad the Heat played. The Hawks did their job. I will give them the credit. Trae Young, while he didn't shoot well from 3, he was there basically on all facets of the game. Now, he did have 5 turnovers, but he led the league in turnovers. this year. 300. The next highest guy was Anthony Edwards, who we'll talk about later in the show, who was second with 259, I think. Trae Young had 300. The bench of the Hawks did their job. That's the most impressive part of the Hawks game. It wasn't the fact that, Trae Young averaged the most points on their team. DeJounte Murray did his job. He didn't shoot well from three. Like I said, the entire team didn't really shoot well from three. It was that the bench were 10 points or more per player. Every single one of these players was plus in the plus minus. The Hawks are going to go on, get probably stomped by the Celtics, and the Heat, I'm sort of weary of whether or not they'll be either the Bulls or the Raptors. I picked the Raptors, and I think I actually picked do I have it in front of me here? I picked the Raptors to beat them. Because I didn't feel great about it. Or actually, no. I picked the Raptors to beat the Hawks because I picked the Heat in this game. So yeah, Raptors. I think, depending on who wins, I don't think it matters. I think if any team could play physical, like Trae Young said they needed to, and it definitely showed, they're an old team, old and slow. If you could out-physical the Heat, I think we could see a repeat of what this game looked like. A team who looks their average age of almost 30, who doesn't rebound the ball very well. I believe they're ranked 27th in that. Who can't score, dead last, but for some reason is a really good defensive team. If you could just out-physical them, their defensive stat don't even matter. I'm taking either the Bulls or the Bulls or the Raptors to beat this Heat team. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, if you want to check out the full episode, make sure you click the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to listen to this show anywhere you go, make sure you go to anchor.fm/The Harvey Hour or anywhere you get your podcasts.